No, let's let them keep the power. Let's just make sure that we just in a constant, perpetual walking on eggshell state. That's basically what you're saying.
Also,
So when you practice emotional intelligence and use your social skills, they call it walking on eggshell, because you have to bark at her face for you to feel like a man. That's what he's saying. Walk on eggshell. No, it's not called walking on eggshell. It's called you give your power away because you talk too much, and no one is going to sit there and listen to bullshit when they have their own feelings. Because everyone only cares about. And these are sizable books. They are minimum 200 pages. You can download them absolutely for free by simply going to, for example, this one, you just go to getmymarriageback.com, smartrealestatewholesaling.com, realestatemoneysecrets.com. So yes, I am a 3 times author, and those books are out there for your consumption, and they are also available everywhere on Amazon, anywhere that you pick up books. So in case you prefer a physical book like that. All right, welcome back. So we are reviewing a video from Bernard Riley. It's one of the guys with a decent sizable YouTube channel in the manosphere space. I like his content precisely. For the most part, I learned what not to say, how not to move, and I share how not to move as a man in this society for the most part. Okay, so I really appreciate this platform for that, from that point of view. So let's get into it. Awesome. Let's get into this video right
in terms of all this quote unquote power that women have. It's just, in my personal opinion, women only do what men allow them to do. So I'm just confused on that.
Well, you're not talking about power right there. You're talking, are you talking about like a woman, how she deals with you in a relationship? Like, yeah, my woman, she will only do in that relationship what I allow her.
Actually, no, he's talking about power. A lot, the way we move, a lot of time when we're having these talking points, having these conversations, most men are complaining about the outrageous amount of power that women have. Okay, and that's what he's talking about.
Or to get allow her to get away with. I mean, she ain't that chick that's constantly trying to get away with something. But yeah, if I let her do something wrong, and then I know if she do something wrong and I don't say nothing about it, and then it just becomes a normal thing that she does, and then yeah, I'm letting her get away with it. Is that what you're talking about?
I'm talking about overall, because I'm hearing a lot of talk about like we need to galvanize men and work to change the laws. I'm like, what laws exactly?
You don't think that it would be a good law that if we could get something like when a child is born, it's automatic?
This guy's entered the lion's den.
No matter what.
He's entered the lion's den. He said, "What law?" Oh my God, they're about to bite his face off right now. Just watch.
In theory, yes, but at the same time, I think we got to be more responsible with who we have kids with. Like the majority of
I mean, the men do say that to the women a lot. Like, you got to be responsible for all the Pookies and the Rays, and shout out to Anna, all the Percys and the Tyrons that you sleep with. You got to be responsible for that, right? So now he's saying, man, don't you want to be responsible for who you have babies with? But watch, the pushback is real, okay?
man, that's a damn cop out, man. Like,
wait, somebody could not hold their cool any longer. One of the people on the panel, I think there are 3 people on the panel on the right hand side, right there, right? They couldn't hold their cool anymore, right? Let's keep going.
But what I'm saying is, a woman cannot get pregnant without your seed, and you voluntarily gave it to her.
Dude. When men have sex,
it's a dude. All right. So again, we're talking about power. Let's first of all talk about what kind of power do women have. The power they're talking about when it comes to the laws, right? It's real. The biases at the courthouses, it's real. It's a real thing. If you find yourself in a courthouse as a man, you become vulnerable. You're going to get your feelings hurt, and absolutely the way that game is played is going to be unfair. It's just the society you find yourself as a man who claim you want to lead. So you better put your big pants on, right? What do you call it? Yeah, big pants, right? Put it back on, and then find ways to mitigate this without complaining about it, because complaining and bitching about it only make it worse. All right, that's a fact. Oh no, men don't have a space to talk. No, you have a space to talk. I can engage you in the comment area if you want to talk. But I'm telling you right now, I'm telling you straight up, that you complaining and losing your cool, losing your emotional, cool, calm, collected vibe will only make things worse for you. Because remember, you're still operating within that same context, that same society. It's only going to get worse if you don't remain in your masculine frame. Okay, now the power that women have, if you found yourself, for the most part, it's not absolute by the way, but for the most part, if you find yourself in the court of law, family court, right, it's associated with the police power. Okay, there are two different types of power that I want to spell out for you here. There's police power, there's emotional power. Okay, and what I want to do is, let me make sure. Okay, good. We're good here. What I want to do is I want to spell both of them out for you so that you're not confused when it comes to what we're talking about here. All right. So let me blow that up really quickly for you. All right. So this is the meaning of police power. This is what police power means. The inherent power of a government to exercise. This is the government, not the ladies. Yes, effectively, by way of downstream effect, by way of cause and effect, it becomes the lady's power, right? She can weaponize it if she feels these other things I'm about to talk about, right? She can absolutely weaponize this, right? The government to exercise, the power of a government to exercise reasonable control over persons and property within its jurisdiction in the interest of the general security, health, safety, morals, and welfare, except where legally prohibited. That's police power. So when you say the women have power and all you're talking about is just the laws, then you're just talking about police power. Now, are you telling me that as a man, you can't figure out that there are other types of power that makes up the life we live, the experience we're living right now as human beings? Is that what you're trying to tell me? Well, let me point one out to you. There's one called emotional power, okay? Emotional power, let me blow this up, make sure you can read it. Emotional power in the ability to use inherently is still inherent, just like, you know, we talked about the police power, right? Inherent power of a government is actually the government's power. That's what keeps the society together. But I'm not gonna cap about this. There's still bias, gender bias, because we're designed. The society is designed to protect women and children. That's not something we bitch about. That's something that any man in his right mental health is actually proud of, right? All right. So now, if you are trying to live 70 years from now, you're part of the evolution that's going on. Sure, but you're probably going to miss out on the results you create. So, for example, we need to fight as a community to change the laws. You may actually never enjoy that if you're waiting for that power to transfer back to you. And power is never really given. Maybe society can move in a way and things will consolidate and to come back on your end, or even like one of the things that Bernard is talking about here is automatic 50-50 custody, right? Yeah, I don't know how. Yeah, unfair, granted. But again, at what point am I going to point out that you're trying to compete with women here, right? All right, hold on one second. Don't dude me, right? Dude, hold on one second, okay? That's why I created this platform, so I don't have people barking at me, right? All right, here we go. The ability to use inherently short-term emotions. Emotions are short-term in nature, right? Feelings are short-term in nature, right? Nonetheless, controls our lives, control our decisions 85% of the time for both you and I, and both men and women. Yeah, that's the reality, okay? And I'm about to continue playing that video. Watch all of these men in their emotions, and then watch all of them try to call the logic cap. Oh well, let's keep going. Short-term emotions for your long-term best interests, right? So how do you have the ability to leverage short-term emotions for your long-term best interest, or you're just gonna do and burn bridges, right? And what a lot of people are doing these days is that they're playing the fair game, fair and unfair. It's unfair. Eventually, your vibe, your energy, the biggest piece of this pie, right, controls the dynamic of that relationship. You lose that relationship, you lose your children, you end up in a court where they're going to exercise the police power on you, the government will they actually give you a few chances. They do mediations, but ultimately, once you end up in that system, you're fucked. Is it unfair? It's up to you. You can define that as unfair, but I'm sure if you start to ask the ladies, they will have like a zillion more ways why the society is unfair for them. I'm sure of that. Right? So let's keep going. Let's get back. I just wanted to make sure that you know the difference between police power and emotional power. In these spaces, we never talk about the emotional power. We're just busy arguing about the police power, and we never get anywhere with it, right? So let's go back to this.
Sex with women, that is not a declaration to have a child. So it be that.
Time out. I want to take it this route.
Wait, he has a point. Before he takes over, he has a point, right? Just because you slept with a woman doesn't mean you're given permission to have a child. I'm sorry. Do you live in this reality, or this is another fantasy line? See, this is the point where I start to question modern men. Are you sure that you're more engaged with reality or not? Because the moment you sleep with a lady, the reality, not your feelings, fuck your feelings, right? The reality is that you're just giving her permission to have your baby. Effectively, never mind what it should be. I know what it should be per your opinion already. I already have an idea. It should be 50-50. She should never be allowed. You should be able to have a say. But it's not. It's not. Without the shoulda, coulda, is the reality. Right? So you're not helping yourself with that ideology that you're trying to sell right there, because society is not going to buy into it, because you want to hold on to power as a man. You want to hold the key to the masculine frame that create the world we're in. And unless you're willing to give that up, as in like drastically, right, then forget it. That's just not the reality. The moment you insert your bola inside a woman, you're just giving her permission, right, to fuck you over for life. Now, what are the chances she would do that? The chances is actually slim to not a lot. We like to paint it like everyone is getting fucked, but if that was the case, there'll be a police in front of every house in your neighborhood. So you're capping with that, all right? But let's keep going. I do know that every experience feels like it's happening to everyone. That's why it's feelings. It's just feelings, right? Every time you have a bad experience, you feel like, and especially if you find a community online where everybody's relating with each other, like a trauma bonding type of space, it feels like this is just happening everywhere. But it's not. It's just not. Okay? You just find yourself in a space where other people can relate, where somebody has struck a nerve, and there's a good chance that you're not working on healing. And I empathize with you if you find yourself in that space. Like I said, if you ever find yourself in a place just because you had sex, you're about to have a baby, congratulations to you, because that's the reality. All right, let's keep going.
I know where you're going, Ed. So, all right, you're saying a woman cannot get pregnant unless you give her your seed.
And that's a lie too.
Okay, let's stop.
My bad. I'll let the host rock.
Somebody's in his emotion saying that's a lie too. Relax. Have the conversation like gentlemen, right?
All right. let's yeah. Okay. She can't get pregnant unless you give her your seed. That is true. So once you and that woman,
I knew it. Bernard is a smart guy. Let's keep going.
Have that child, regardless of who messed up, how bad you messed up, how bad she messed up, the fact of the matter is she has all the power after the fact. So if we're talking about ways to take back some power after the fact, legally, to make it to where
at least it said legally, right? She has police power. She has legal power for the most part. She doesn't have the most important power, especially when it comes to the skill set of life that every man needs to possess: emotional intelligence and social skills. She does not. She ended up with you. There's a good chance that she sucks just as much as you do when it comes to emotional intelligence and social skills. So one thing you can do to gain some massive power back is to, number one, heal, and then approach that knowledge and wisdom that comes with emotional intelligence and social skills. And I guarantee you, you can probably get how to talk. It happens all the time. You're just not in a space where people have aligned themselves to learn the skill set.
It's not. It's not in a situation even with a divorce, because even with a divorce it ain't fair. But let's just even not even deal with the divorce. If we're talking about changing laws to the point to where it's not just automatically her kid and you got to go to a court and pay a bunch of money and file this and file that and do all of that just to, you know, in the end be handed every other weekend and Wednesday from 5 to 8 and have to pay for a child that you only get to see 4 days out of the month. If we're talking about that not being the case, that's something that you as a man should agree with. But I understand, like, your argument should be, yeah, we need to change these laws. We need to make it to where men don't have to go through all those loops to have their kids.
What I see is that while some laws, there's always laws that needs to be changed, especially this one, right? I see a lot of people talking about it, and they're not making that move because they will rather trauma bond on the internet rather than send a few emails to some senators and the powers that be and see if they can get some conversations going towards the people that actually matter. Most people would rather just complain and they want to say something else, but they're saying something else. Like, yeah, she took my kid. So that's all they're saying. But the truth of the matter is that they're not willing to do the work. Not only are they not willing to do the emotional work involved in maintaining a strong relationship with the mother of your kids. By the way, if she's the mother of your kids, you're stuck together for life. Literally for life. Okay? So you better still nurture that relationship. Because if this is the place where you want to burn bridges, you will suffer. You will create just more suffering for yourself. That's all that will happen. Okay? And you may want to call it unfair. I think you're entitled. I think you forget you're human. I think you forgot you created another human being with another human being. And these are relationships, nonetheless, that you need to nurture regardless. Okay? Even more so, you have to nurture this kind of relationship because your wife at home can still give you some, it can cut you some slacks, give you some grace here and there because she's obviously getting value from being your wife at home, right? But when a person doesn't live in your house, they don't have any incentive. There's no reason for you to cut you any slacks or give you any kind of grace. They're human. They probably feel just as hurt as you feel, right? So they're not gonna cut you any slacks. So the more you continue to soak yourself in that misery, right, and continue to engage with people such as Misery Love Company type of group, right, the more you're gonna make matters worse for yourself. That's just the reality. That is the fact. Not what Bernard just said. What Bernard just said is maybe scientific textbook facts, but we're talking about relationships now, so it's a little bit bigger than that. We're talking about minds, people's hearts involved, people's children involved. People have people talking like this in their ears, influencing them. Television, other people's story, reality TV shows, not so reality become reality, right? So you have to learn all of these different nuances and layers and learn how to use them in your favor. How are you going to do that without social skills and emotional intelligence? It's impossible. The laws are not going to help. The laws will probably never change in your favor unless you change the social construct altogether. I know, it's sad, but true.
In their lives and blah, blah, blah. But in the meantime, let's be careful, fellas. Then we got no pushback. But when I brought up the laws and let's make it 1 week on, 1 week off. How about that? You was like, well, yeah, in theory. That's basically saying
it's not in theory. You're saying theory. In reality, that would never happen. There are many other reasons why that would never happen. There are people that have been given exactly that, and it's always fall on one side when it comes to specifically that. There may be other ways that you get value from that person, your baby mother, your baby father, but when it comes to that specific thing, there's no such thing as 50-50 in life. The way you say it, when it, like, theoretically speaking, like it's just math, that's not how life works. It just doesn't. Even if you get what you want.
No, let's let them keep the power. Let's just make sure that we just in a constant perpetual walking on eggshell state. That's basically what you're saying.
Also,
so when you practice emotional intelligence and use your social skills, they call it walking on eggshell, because you have to bark at her face for you to feel like a man. That's what he's saying. Walk on eggshell. No, it's not called walking on eggshells. It's called you talk too fucking much. You give yourself away. You give your power away because you talk too much, and no one is going to sit there and listen to bullshit when they have their own feelings. Because everyone only cares about their own feelings. So if you're not aware of that, you're gonna hurt yourself. You call that walking on eggshell? No, it is not. It is not walking on eggshell. Okay? There's power in silence.
Oh,
What I'm saying is that, in my personal opinion, men are always 100% responsible for what happens to them because they are men. Once you start talking about
what does that have to do with the laws? What is that? It's not about somebody's fault. If you let's stick to.
So I would agree that the guy that's talking is not really putting himself forward, his case points forward properly. I would agree with that, but nonetheless, he has a point, right? They would rather talk about the laws because it makes them feel better. Why you talk about the laws to each other? Go start signing some kind of petition or something. Get to work. Start signing petition, right? Start signing petition.
The 50-50 custody. What does that have to do with that needing to change and it being 50-50 custody automatically? Because you said they're both responsible.
There's no such thing as automatically. I'm going to pick your words apart. These words are wrong. They're not applicable because we're talking about real life relationships involved. You had a baby with a person, a whole baby, not a dog, not a goat. A whole baby with a person. It's not as simple as your stupid math, your theoretical math. It's just not. You have a relationship with that person, even if they're not talking to you right now. Precisely, that makes it a relationship. Because if you didn't matter, if they were indifferent, they'll be able to talk to you.
For having a kid, 100%, right?
Wrong.
So what I'm saying is this: since you know what the law is, why did you have that baby? It's really that
He
simple.
didn't have.
You starting? I
Yes,
think
he
that's.
did.
He's about to get angry.
We starting from a false premise that.
What you're saying
man
is,
is
Clarence,
100%.
everything is a man's fault, and
Yeah.
Here we go. So every time we're trying to point out to you that you have more power than police power that you feel has been taken away from you, now it's the man's fault. Every time we tell you that you need to engage emotional intelligence and social skills, everything is a man's fault. Every time we tell you to back off a little bit so you can see what the hell you're playing with, that's a man's fault. What about no? Calm down. We're telling you that you're disengaging your power by yelling at the top of your lungs online every day. You need to look a little bit closer, step away and look closer. You're disengaging from your power, your leverage point. When you talk about power, you cannot talk about power without talking about leverage point. Your leverage point is not your voice. It's not you yelling at the top of your lungs. Your leverage point is emotions, learning how it works and learning how to use it to your advantage. Right? You don't have to talk quietly like me, by the way. You can still talk with a deep voice and exercise some emotional intelligence, right? You can still be yourself, just a better version of yourself. You know what I'm saying? Right? That's what we're talking about, right? Precisely, you're disengaging from your power by going to that talking point all the time. So everything is a man's fault. No. Faults are irrelevant. It's not anyone's fault. It's just the way the world works right now. And if you disengage from your power by looking for people to point fingers at, you will hurt yourself over and over and over again, because you're dealing with human beings. You're dealing with a person you're in a personal relationship with. It doesn't matter if you're divorced or not. Okay? As long as at least you're within the first 18 years of the life of that baby, you're stuck with them. And yelling at the top of your lungs or arguing semantics all day long online is not going to help you. What you need to learn is that, what does this person care about? That's emotional intelligence. What is it that they still care about something. What is it that they care about? Learn how to use that, leverage that as a leverage point to your advantage. If they care about something, I know you think all women are psychopaths and they just don't care. That's false. That's because you haven't listened long enough. You're not patient enough. Something that I think Bernard is calling walking on eggshells. Do you call that walking on eggshells? You're going to work on glass. If you don't get if you don't get it together, okay, you're gonna hurt yourself.
That's
No,
an oversimplification
I'm-
of life, bro.
See?
And I'm saying that I'm saying as a man,
See?
you are responsible for what you do. Is that not true?
So am I responsible? Hold on. So okay, let me say it
Yes,
this way.
that's quick. No, the short answer to that question is yes.
Yeah,
That's what I like about Bernard. Okay, like listen, that's a straightforward answer right there. The answer is yes, right? Why the people on the panel are caught up in their emotions?
but hold on. So hold on, time out. I'm
We can
going
agree
somewhere.
on
I'm
that.
going somewhere with this.
Timeout means shut up, by the way. Timeout always means shut up. It's not supposed to, but when people are caught up in their emotions and they timeout, that's shut up. It's rude. It's rude behavior. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. It's in what context you say it in. Okay? But just wanted to say that, just wanted to say that just in case somebody is listening.
Going somewhere with this. If you get married to a woman and a woman decides to divorce you on some no-fault divorce,
How are you 100%?
so you gonna still pull that same shit?
That's why I said faults are not relevant. But people just don't pull no fault divorce for the most part. Majority of the time, right? There are things that continue to decline in that marriage. That marriage was a shithole that you knew, but you continue to perpetuate nonsense, and eventually she may have gained her power and pulled the plug. Oh, okay, you know what? Let me stay on your side. She was just a mad psychopath. We just wanted to belong to the streets and pull the plug. Still, you are in the real world. You're a man in the real world. Faults are irrelevant. Blame, guilt, condemnation, judgments are irrelevant. For as long as you continue to make those things relevant, you will hurt yourself in your own soul. And then you will actively trying to hurt the other person, because hurt people hurt people. And that's always going to backfire, because you're not going to play that game better. Let me tell you something. Madness is everywhere. You think you're mad, there's probably somebody that's madder than you, right? You think you're crazy, there's probably somebody that's crazier than you, right? And then you're going to put yourself in a vulnerable state. They will use the police power against you because you don't want to walk on eggshell, right? All right.
That means I picked the wrong woman.
Okay, so just say it's always the man's fault, and the woman has no accountability to nothing.
Wait, so when it comes to the woman, it's accountability. When it comes to the man, it's a fault. No, it's a matter of accountability. It's a matter of responsibility as a man. It has nothing to do with fault. Fault means you're pointing a finger at somebody, right? No, it's not a matter of pointing finger at somebody. It's about pointing finger at where's the leverage point. Your leverage point is to not be soaked up and be so engaged and obsessed with whose fault is it, right? If you're obsessed with whose fault it is, you will hurt yourself over and over again because it's everyone's fault. Oh yeah, that's a cop, right? Whatever, right? But you can keep coming back here and I'll keep showcasing these examples for you, right? But this is real. It happens all the time. Okay.
Add that in there so I know what you want.
That's philosophically not.
Clarence.
What I'm saying.
Hold on, wait.
What I'm saying.
Hear me on this, man.
And just get
If
some
you're
last word
just
from
saying,
Bernard.
hey, brothers, we got to take more responsibility. Then look,
That's
okay,
not what he's saying.
If he was saying that, we would be with you on that. But
Yeah.
you came in with the premise. I'm sorry. You was like, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to figure out what power do they have. If even in a divorce where the children were born into the marriage, if the woman gets the kids 90% of the time, and according to every attorney I ever taught,
All right, so let's just end that right there. Here's the point right here, okay? If she doesn't feel emotionally invested in you, yes, your ex-wife can feel emotionally invested in you. There are ex-wives that want to leave, but they don't want to hurt you, okay? Probably because of their children, probably because of emotional attachments, probably because they're trying to figure some things out. If she doesn't feel any emotional attachments to you, that means you have no emotional power, okay? That means you also probably have zero police power. Well, everyone has zero police power, but she has the power to leverage that police power against you because of the social construct that we live in. And it is what it is. It's sad. It's unfair. I get it. I get the point. But I'm telling you, if you continue to engage in this conversation over and over again, you're going to continue to hurt yourself. You need to find a way to engage your emotional power. So you can use, it doesn't matter how long ago the divorce was, you can still use it because they still have a relationship with you. But the first step is you need to find out what they care about. Well, I don't care about finding out what she cares about. Well, that's your problem right there.